All right, excellent here. Well, first of all, good afternoon, everybody. I think we might maybe be able to say good evening. Thank you guys for joining us in our latest SEL committee's installment of our parent university. Tonight we got a very important topic here, and I think it's something that I think as parents we can all relate to, in the fact that it's something that we all want to be improving upon, and just want to touch upon just developmentally what executive functioning is, how kids learn that, how young adults learn that throughout their a good chunk of their lives, and then ways that we can assist them as parents, as adults, as teachers, as educators, to kind of help them with that growth of executive functioning. So without further ado, if we could introduce our esteemed panelists here. My name is Brandon Peterson. I'm the principal at West Oak Middle School.
Hi there, I am Catherine Roth. I am the ELA teacher, the 7th grade ELA teacher at the middle school.
I'm Christiane Weber, and I am a 3rd grade teacher at West Oak Intermediate School.
All right, and you guys failed to say that you guys are both executive functioning gurus within your schools. So no, thank you guys for joining us here. I really appreciate your willingness to stop by and speak with us about it. So if I could kind of just jump in. So first of all, executive functioning, really sounds kind of fancy. Executive functioning is really the ways that we self-regulate. It's the ways that we function and we stay. It's the ways that we are able to organize ourselves, develop plans, implement the plans, juggle multiple tasks at once. Really, it's how we kind of just organize our lives, organize ourselves, and just how, and it's directly related to how our brain develops. So if you see there with this, there are many different parts to executive functioning. A number of them, it does come organizationally, but also it's just being in control of yourself, your emotions, being self-aware. And really it's just kind of that, I think overall it comes down to, most people would define this as maturity. When people mature, these executive functionings are grown to a certain point. So we're going to talk a little bit more about those. But as I said at the beginning when I introduced this, executive functioning starts really from the day that you're born, and then really doesn't end. It doesn't stop developing until your mid-20s. So it's hard to believe. So when we say why can't my son, why can't my daughter, why can't my students remember this, or stay organized, or remember to clean their room. Remember their brain is still growing well into their 20s. So just kind of keep that in mind. So trends that we are seeing within our district, and we are an absolutely normal district. Other schools have this, and other kids have this as well, where we're all just maturing. Students with executive functioning skills generally do better in school. They're definitely, they're typically ones that perform higher. They have better grades. They're on time. There's less behavioral issues. They're organized. They don't lose stuff. I know here, I would assume, I wish we could have a panelist from Diamond Lake School here. I can only imagine what their lost and found box is looking like. Maybe that might be a good indicator of where we're at, with our executive functioning skills, is to compare our lost and found boxes. But so just all those items, points to being organized and just doing the right things here as well. So so I'm going to move on here to what we are seeing in our district, but also signs of kids that are struggling in these areas, or just have some room to grow. First of all, it's pretty much the opposite of what I just listed in regards to having trouble starting tasks, following through with finishing them, knowing what tasks to finish, but also prioritizing what things to go through, is what things to do first rather than others as well. They struggle with change. They like a routine, and they by doing that here, they don't have to think as much. But they overly fixate on things that they have difficulties with organization, and like I said before here with the lost and found, they have a little trouble with keeping a hold of their belongings as well. So all those items point to just and it's not a negative thing. Like I said, this is our kids going through that natural progression towards maturity, towards building these skills. And really that's what our goal is behind this as well. So, knowing this and knowing, the signs that, we are trying to help our kids, not only academically, not only socially, but also that social emotionally, but also that, with these executive functioning skills, we last year, came up with a plan here as a district, but then also at the building level too, on how we were going to, implement these things to help our kids, to help teach our kids these executive functioning skills. So I'm going to turn it over to Miss Weber to talk about our district plan, and then she's going to get into what they're doing at WOAS, and then what we are doing at the middle school.
Yes, so we started rolling out district-wide the executive functioning plan in January of 2022. And while we all started rolling it out, it really was specific to buildings, what the students at that grade level needed to be focusing on. We started off including grades 2 through 8, and the bare minimum of what our goal was is that every student was going to have a binder, folders for their subjects, and a pencil case to help with those organization and management skills. At WOAS specifically, we started this year focusing heavily on materials management and goal setting. And I know that the middle school probably got a little farther in their plan, so Ms. Roth will go through that, but we focused a lot on just getting the students used to the binder system, consistently putting papers and materials in the binders, in their folders, knowing where it is, not losing everything, and just being consistent with that. And goal setting, we focused a lot on SMART goals and why we make goals, how to reach them, and checking in on those goals to make sure that they are realistic.
Ms. Roth, you want to jump in?
Yes. We did a lot of the same thing at the middle school. We started off by disseminating or passing out the different binders and folders and pencil cases to all the kids. We showed them how to organize them. We had them put labels indicating their period number, that they have the class title, and the teacher all on the exterior of the folder. Then on the inside of every single folder, we have them across the board, everybody label the right-hand side as one way, and I'm supposed to get into that later, sorry. The point is that we got them to be very organized in their binders and then their setup. This way, hopefully kicking this off at the start of the school year, as Ms. Weber said, that the kids will be able to kind of continue with this progress, with this structure throughout the rest of the year, and having teachers kind of check in on them, whether it be once a month or once weekly, to be sure that everything is staying nice and organized. And then at the end of each unit, teachers are hopefully asking students to go ahead and clear out those folders and keep them in a safe spot, so that way they can reference it later on as well.
So then switching back over to focus on WOAS, this year, again, focused specifically on materials management and goal setting. The first part of our year was really focusing on setting up that system. Teachers and students worked together, kind of combining our previous SEL, our social emotional learning materials, with the executive functioning materials and seeing how we could use them to build on each other. That involved setting up the binder, introducing the planner, especially to our third graders who really had never seen that before, labeling the subjects, similar to the middle school, talking about keeping track of their materials, having a folder that went to home and back to school every day and not losing it. And just making sure that everyone was consistent across the grade levels with what colors were for what folder. So if there was any confusion, any teacher could help support that, and all parents were on the same page. And then again, just going with the goal setting, we really were focusing on how to make a goal and how to follow through with it, and if we needed to update it with the kids. So just doing those monthly or trimester check-ins. And then our goals for next year, are going to be continuing building on the materials management and goal setting. So having those second graders coming up from Diamond Lake, seeing what the system is like, but having the fourth and fifth graders be there to support them and kind of show them this is how the system works, this is why we do it. But then also introducing those other units with decision making and problem solving, and really connecting that to our second step resources, and going through how different strategies to do that. And then a big one for time management and planning. So focusing on writing the assignments in the planner, where this year was kind of just using the binders and the planners in general, prioritizing what needs to be done first, breaking up big projects, and then how to utilize their time outside of school and inside of school. So just focusing on time management.
So at the middle school level, this is kind of how we organized and got things going for the start of the school year. We gave all the kids, like we mentioned, the binders and the assignment notebooks. So specifically, this is how we kicked off the assignment notebooks at the middle school level. We started by passing out in the center-ish of the page there, you can see that's the district calendar of the dates that we do or don't have school. So kids went through every single month, as you can see on the super right-hand side there where it says September, kids went through and indicated where they don't have school or where it's a late start. So that way, looking at the big picture, kids can see it in their own handwriting. It was actually encouraged for kids to even use one specific color, say blue, for instance, and indicate that on all of the calendars going forward. That way, throughout the year, as they're getting maybe their ELA project, that's going to be, 2 months from now, they can go and take a different color, say pink, and write that on their whatever, October, 2 months from now, whatever it is, and clearly see kind of the bigger picture of what is coming ahead in terms of these monthly setups. Additionally, inside of their agenda or assignment notebook, we had them staple those 3 items that are on the left-hand side. We had them staple their symbols and abbreviations to kind of help them indicate in shorthand writing, how can you quickly and effectively utilize your skills. Again, that's part of what we're teaching here is the executive functioning skills, being able to do things effectively and quickly. So we are trying to teach them the abbreviations and how you can just quickly write NH for no homework and move on, instead of spelling out the whole word, no homework, and wasting your time. We're all about saving time and being more organized. Additionally, crossing things off as you go along allows the brain to feel more satisfied in accomplishing things, as well as you can see that visual reminder of, oh, I've already gotten that off my to-do list. I no longer have to look at it, so cross it off. Students should be writing in their assignment notebooks daily. Is yours? Don't know. And then the bottom portion of that same page in the center there, it is the students' schedules. We actually printed every single student schedule, passed it out to every kiddo, so that way those that do struggle with their executive functioning, where do I go next? It's the beginning of the school year, or it's second trimester, or third trimester, the classes change. Where do the kids go? So this way they don't lose their schedule. They always have it there. Often some kids even write their locker code on that piece of paper. So again, they have everything literally all right in one spot. And additionally, we printed off each of the bell schedules for the kids. That way they just have access to just everything all in this one big old nutshell.
All right, thank you, Yura.
And maybe with less detail this time, we also have kids organizing, so not just their lockers, so that center bottom image there is sort of what we do. We have a lot of the kids write down when they should be going to their locker. Kids don't always see, hey, I should go at the start of first period, before lunch, after lunch, and the end of the day. That's only 4 times. Instead, they think, oh, I need to go to my locker in between every single class and hang out with my friends. No, you should be going to your next class and already have all the materials that you need. So that in that center paper there is to help students get organized with what materials do I need for that first and second period, first, second, third, and fourth period class before lunch, or however their day is set up. I do actually see, side note, I do see some students, instead of utilizing one binder, they choose to do a morning binder and an afternoon binder. So that way, when they go to their locker, they're just grabbing that one binder. That can get confusing for students because now you have to still pull out the pencil bag and the assignment notebook. But if that works for students, it works for students. I would suggest going with a 2.5 to 3-inch binder, one binder for everything, so you don't have to worry about this. And this way, maybe the kids' notebooks can also fit in there. That seems to be an issue that some students were running into. They liked sticking their notebooks in there or their class novels for ELA. We also showed students that Google Classrooms can actually be moved around, that top image there, to be in chronological order. So instead of it saying period 8, period 1, period 5, why not put those in order? All you do is click and drag. Again, your brain thinks more effectively when things are organized. Your brain likes it that way. It's less panic, it's less stress for everybody. So then on some other days, we've had students, we've taught them how to go through and organize either their Google Drive folders to be color coordinated and match their physical binder folders, as well as structuring their emails to have some type of a system or folders or ways of indicating that they've already reviewed that specific email. So that way they can stay on top of it and become an effective functioning adult in the workforce. This is one of the many ways that our middle school has kind of checked in on students. We have been doing in the past, we were doing it kind of monthly as a check-in with students, just kind of selecting letting the kids decide where do we need to go, kind of touching base with them. Should we touch base with them on doing a binder check, making sure papers are in order? I'm not going to read all of these off, but these are different ways in which we have helped walk through students in organizing them. Going forward, I think it's going to end up becoming a maybe every Friday thing that the homeroom teacher, or correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was homeroom teacher that we discussed.
Yeah, probably. That was my thought here too. And it's going to be a work in progress. And what I like about this is, we've been tweaking this each year and, just trying to make it our own. Every school is different and we're just trying to make it make it fit best for us. So we were thinking possibly on a rotational basis. Each Friday we're organized one facet of these items here, these top 3 or possibly 4 items.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do, thank you, Ms. Weber, thank you, Ms. Roth, for just kind of giving us a quick overview on what what we're doing at our at both of our schools, just to help our kids grow. I mean, that that's really what it's all about. We want to have them, we want to help teach them, in a number of areas, and really just kind of teach them in ways that outside of academics, but but these skills transfer over to academics, as we talked about here earlier during this presentation. So, for our parent university's purpose, we wanted to show that, this is what we're doing at school, but, as we hope, we hope our parents know and understand is that we're a united front, and we want to give you guys tools too to help support your child as well. So we're just gonna give you a number of ways to do that, and we're just gonna kind of bounce around a little bit, but just giving everybody ideas on what they could do at their homes to kind of reinforce what we're doing in the schools, but also just to kind of help your own child out at that home environment as well. It's just so important. So the first example that we have here, it's just going to be enforce accountability. I know some people have some difficulties with this, especially at the younger levels, but just the ability to making sure, I know I'm speaking for my own self, is making sure my sons at the end of the night, when they get their pajamas on, the clothes go in the hamper. And although that might seem very, very small, it can be very, very difficult for a 5-year-old, a 7-year-old, a 9-year-old. So just holding them accountable, it's a good thing. And there's ways to go about that here, and just make them accountable, but show them also that you have confidence in their abilities. Hey, I know you've done this before, and I have faith in you, and I know you can do it because you've done it before. So enforcing accountability, and just letting them know that, hey, I believe in you, and I have faith in you, and I know you can do it, whatever task that might be. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Weber.
Another strategy, and again, a big one for our young, honestly, all across the grade levels, but younger specifically, is having that visual reminder, writing it down. A lot of times we are moving 700 miles a minute, it feels like. And so slowing down, seeing it, having that reminder, whether it's on a note card, sticky note, in their agenda, anything like that, just having that reminder to do it. Because seeing it will bring it back to the front of their memory and hopefully jog that executive functioning to help them remember to do whatever they need to do. Making time external, so making it physical, measurable, setting a timer, showing. I know a big one in 3rd grade is a lot of times we ask, okay, when can we move on? When can we move on? Talking about telling time, where the big hand's going to be, where the hour hand's going to be. It seems like a very easy thing that they kind of should know on their own, but a lot of times that means they have to slow down and look at the clock and have that reminder. So just encouraging that, saying when the big hand gets to the 8, then you can take a break. But again, that visual reminder of when we get to this point, then it's time to do something or it's time to move on, and not just losing track of time. Another one we talk about a lot is offering rewards. This can be a physical reward. This can just be something that the student or child comes up with on their own of, if I get something done, then I can do another activity. So motivational rewards do work for some students. It kind of gives them that end goal of, I want that, so I'm going to work hard for it. A token system, if you do so many things in a week or you get all your homework done for the week, then on Friday you get X, Y, and Z. So just reinforcing those long-term goals, but making sure that you're focusing not just on the long term, but the short term. So every day, maybe it's a sticker, maybe it's a check mark, something that it's reinforcing that, okay, this is something I need to work on. This is something that I want to keep doing. And then getting that end goal and having that bigger reward.
Yeah, Ms. Weber, I think you bring up a good point in regards to making some of those goals short-sighted. For young kids, they're worried about what they're getting for dessert after dinner here tonight, and they're not worried about what we're doing on Friday. So really kind of just helping scaffold them throughout those goals, those short goals, building upon themselves to reach those bigger, longer term goals as well. So thank you for mentioning that.
And then make learning hands-on, not just having it be an sorry, the word's blinking, but not making it just a task where they're watching and then repeating, but actually getting them engaged, doing some type of physical problem, whether if it's math using jelly beans or manipulatives. This might seem like something that only the younger kids need, but I know a lot of the 7th and 8th graders, they want to be moving. They don't want to just sit still and watch. They want to actually be engaged, whether that's making the project their own and doing a variety of different things, but getting them moving and actually involved in the project, as opposed to, I'm just going to write notes and then forget about it, having it something that sticks in their brain.
Now, whatever the work environment or whatever the home environment is at home, it's important that students have some place that they can consistently do their homework at every single day. If it's their desk in their bedroom, that's wonderful that they have that. Hopefully it starts off organized so that way they can walk in and get going. If they are using a high traffic place, such as the kitchen table, maybe offering them a trifold poster to kind of block out watching people walk past or staring at all the yummy snacks that get us distracted. But having that consistent place where students are able to feel that it's theirs and they're able to stay focused on their tasks. Additionally, maybe having a container, if a whole space is not available, then maybe just one quick container full of all the extra materials that they need, their scissors, glue, colored pencils, markers, tape, and the timer, of course, for ease of access. So that way they can just grab it and sit down and go, they have everything. Because I don't know about your student, but when I was a kiddo, I constantly had to get up for the glass of water, would sit back down, got to get up for the snack, sit back down, got to get up for the scissors, sit back down, got to get up for the highlighter, sit back down. Eliminate that need to get up and go get, instead have it all there ready to go. When you need that break, set that timer for 10 minutes. I think I'm jumping ahead again. I'm sorry, I get so excited. Can you hit go?
Yes. There you
It just
go.
rolls into each other.
I know.
When it's time for that break, make sure you have the student take that initiative and set that timer for 3 to 10 minutes, something short to eliminate the distractions. But this way, allow them to get that chance to stand up and move and get that water or the highlighter or the snack. But sometimes doing exercises in between, although that can wake up the brain, it can also distract the brain. Maybe that's perfect. Maybe that's exactly what your kid needs. Every kid functions differently. Some kids will need that 10 jumping jacks in between. Others just need to step outside with the dog for a second and come on back to their homework. Oh, and in the center paragraph there, it is okay to switch between content areas. So if your student or your child is getting burnt out, drilling whatever, the math test or the math worksheet into themselves, and they're at it for more than 20 minutes, give them a break. Have them go walk for that even 10-minute break, come back and do a different subject for a little bit. Let the brain be at ease for a moment on that topic. If they're struggling on it, there's no sense in torturing your brain. Come back to it after the next round of subjects.
Yeah, and I think this kind of helps make it a more of a positive experience versus homework being, something dreadful that, some kids really think it is. And, really during our PLC research this year, we just, we discovered through, conversation and just literature is that, for every year that kids are of age, that's how long their attention span is. So, a fourth grader that's 10 years old, maybe their attention span should only be about 10 minutes here, where we give them a little break before we go to that next task. So definitely stopping, refueling. We as adults, we need it as well. But we should expect the same for our kids, or for our kids too.
And with that, we all need positive pep talks in life. It's the same as before we begin a big game or before we dive into that dreaded homework assignment, that task. So you need to help amp up your kids if you're capable of doing so. Put on that front, that smiley face, and tell them you can do this. If you need, sit beside them and help them. But pushing your kids to obtain this success or these goals is what's going to give them that internal motivation that's needed. Switch that negative mindset to something a little bit more positive. Instead of hearing your student or your child say, I can't do this, try the, how do I learn it? What works best for me? Maybe they're a highlighter guru. Maybe they're the note card person. Maybe they're the one that has to stand up and go play it on the soccer field instead. It's okay to take learning and make it obtainable and appropriate for every student.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure what happened to the rest of this slide, but here are some additional positive phrases to help retrain your brain into something more, positive and successful, to have that growth mindset and to help your students become more engaged in themselves and their learning. On the right-hand side would be the growth mindset. So again, some positive things. Mistakes help me learn. Instead of, I hate these mistakes, I feel dumb. Mistakes are what help us learn. And it's so important to capitalize that on adults, to say that and to verbalize that with our children, with our students, so that way they understand we are all humans and we all make those mistakes. We can all grow together. That's how we get better at things.
Absolutely here.
It's okay to go outside and get that physical exercise. We all know that physical exercise does great things for our body, mind, and spirit as well. Additionally, this is what kind of helps people in general reset themselves. So to get into that physical exercise, it can help kind of refuel your tank, make you feel more empowered and ready to go, as well as, of course, giving you that energy that you need. However you need that exercise. There are so many different ways that kids can get exercise, even just being outside and getting fresh air. Maybe your kiddo is not into sports. That's okay. Even just going outside, going for a walk, enjoying a book outside in the fresh air, anything of a such, to get outside and get some fresh air, get a little bit of physical movement going on.
Finally, our last one here.
Okay, finally, showing compassion. Again, we are all humans and we all make mistakes. It's so important to share this with our children. So often they feel the pressure, whether it be from home or seeing their grades. They feel pressure. Maybe it's with their friend group, whatever it is, they feel pressure. It's important for us to show compassion to them so that way they feel more inclined to push themselves. Those that have executive functioning problems, it's because they struggle to show what they know in the academic setting. So it's important to, sorry, the key is changing their environment to help them do so. Again, it's okay to get outside on the soccer field. It's okay to look at the math problem in 4 different ways using YouTube to help you. When your child messes up, don't go straight to yelling at them. It's okay to show compassion. Say, you know what, I'm upset with this math problem too. Let's come back to it in 5 minutes with a fresh mind. And then try it again together and say, I'm sure that we can do this. We've got this. We've got 2 brains are better than 1. We can handle this math problem. Mistakes happen. And sometimes, especially adults, we don't always know how to do those math problems when it's shown 5 different ways. Sometimes we only know the one way we were taught. Kids do learn differently than us, even if they are our own offspring. It's important that we are able to foster the way that they learn, accept it, and show compassion.
Yeah, and I think that just directly relates to that growth mindset that you just talked about on that last slide here. Okay, so our last slide to kind of finish off tonight here is questions. I'm going to stop sharing here in just a moment, but I wanted to give parents, families, our visitors here a chance to take a quick shot at that QR code. We would love, your feedback on these things. Like I said, we want to highlight, the things that we are doing in our school to help our kids, just be as well-rounded as they possibly can as they progress into adulthood. So we're always looking for your feedback, and we always want to give you something to take away from these things. So I'm hoping, if you were able to walk away with one positive thing that might help your child, that's just absolutely great. And the hard part is, like you said, Miss Roth, is you might have 1, 2, 3 kids, and they might all learn differently. They might all respond differently to different cues as well. So always just important to keep that in mind here. Besides that, I did have a couple questions. So I'm going to just I'm going to close out our chat and see if there are any questions that our audience would like. So, the first question, and if you guys could help me with that, is what executive functioning program is the district using? I understand the binders and other things things being done, but I would like to research and be able to support the common language at home. Either one of you guys would like to respond to that?
That is a tricky question. I don't think do we have a true program title?
I want to make sure I say the exact name of it. So
I know, I see you flip it through here.
It's the Rush University's executive functioning curriculum notebook. So it is Neurobehavioral Center for Rush University. So we're using their research and their curriculum program.
You found that so quickly. I can tell your executive functioning skills are quite
good at finding stuff through Google.
And just so Amanda, just to kind of also answer your question here, we really wanted to get at the bare bones. There's a full-on curriculum for this, and it's pretty intense. So what we did is we partnered with Elmhurst School District. I don't know where the number right offhand here. It might be 204 for a district that has had this implemented for a number of years. Really, they were so kind to kind of just run through with us and present to us like these are the most essential lessons that we have that your kids really get a lot of bang for your buck with. So they've been extremely helpful. Very grateful for them, and that has really helped us at the middle school. Is there any other questions out there before we end our night?
And just so Amanda knows, I typed it because I'm sure I butchered how to say the neuro something, but I sent it in the message.
You did pronounce it correctly, Neurobehavioral Center.
And you sounded very, very, very intelligent with that too. All right. So besides that, I think that is all of our questions for tonight. Like I said before, I do appreciate the people that attended tonight. This is good. This is recorded. We always put these parent universities on our district website, and we'll be shooting those out to shooting those out in our parent newsletters as well. Besides that, that is all we have for tonight. Take care and have a great evening, and we will see you next month with our next installment of our parent university. Bye.